Hey guys, welcome back. Gary's truck looks a little bit different, don't it? Didn't have a chance to video this today, was trying to get this done. We went ahead and got each fender off, and he had all the plugs and everything taken off. I'm going to go ahead and show you what we did with this truck, show you how to get these fenders off, and what you should be disconnecting, and what you can leave connected. But we'll go ahead and show you these little pieces, show you these little tips, and we'll go ahead and get this rolling here. All right, so we got the PCM unplugged, and then we have the other plugs taken off the firewall here. This is all just can hang out here. No big deal. You unplug your master cylinder, and whenever we go to take the cab off, we're going to just unbolt this from the booster and let it hang. We'll tie it up so it's not flopping around. We were having problems with these bolts here, and we ended up having to cut those off, the fenders. Not unusual. They get rusted into those clips. Another reason why I anti-seize stuff. Do your grounds on the side here. We found this one hanging. It's supposed to be on the fender, but obviously is not. So surprised he didn't have any electrical issues with that. However, this is supposed to be over here and over here, and was not. It was somewhere else. But we took this battery box out. Doesn't need to be there. It was just easier to remove it. And then up here, you can take the brackets off the fender. It can stay on the core support, no big deal. So on this side, we had the same problem. We had to cut this bracket off over here. And then, we have your bolts up here. We left this battery tray. I went ahead and tied it forward just to take some stress off. Didn't want to open up the cooling system more than I have to. We still got to take the heater hoses off, but taking the heater hoses off is going to be a minimal loss, whereas if we take this off, we're going to end up draining half the radiator. So no need to drain this if there's no need to do that, and if we're not messing with the cooling system. So same thing over here. We got this set up, and then we put a ratchet strap on the core support just for extra support because there's a lot of weight hanging on this. We don't want this falling back, hitting the fan with the radiator, and possibly causing a problem. It's just simple preventative maintenance on that. We had the air conditioning sucked down, so took that off of the dryer here and bagged it so nothing gets in it. We also have the dryer disconnected. We have the liquid line disconnected here. We will be replacing this dryer and the evaporator and also the heater core once we get this cab off. However, all this stuff can stay here. You don't even have to disconnect the wiring on the solenoid here. We're just take everything off the fenders. The wiring all stays because this core support's going to stay. We don't have to take any of this stuff off of here, which is great. We put the washer bottle up here and just out of the way. No need to drain it out because we're just going to put it right back on. One thing I can tell you is don't put it on the cowl, because if you put the liquid above the squirters, then it will come out the squirters. It will push through the pump. So don't do that. And we also have the doors unhooked here. Both passenger doors are unplugged and grommets pulled out. They're ready to come off. This is a little trick of mine. So the door is all disconnected and everything like that. What you can do is leave the door latched. You can come over here and take your bolts out. And then once you take your bolts out, just make sure you keep pressure on the door here. And once you get your bolts out, you can come over here, unlatch the door, and take it off. It's really, really simple. That's why we're taking apart as you put back on. So our next step here will be take these doors off and then get the interior out, take the other door off and take the other door off. And then once we do all that, we can pull the cab and then reverse on installation. Everything that we can take off the cab to get repaired, take it off out there where it's a lot easier. You can stand there in front of it and then, put everything back on. And then in the reverse function, obviously rear doors, front doors, fenders, hood. Now I was telling you about the The squirter's draining out. Well, yeah, that's what it does. Makes a mess. We still got to get the e-brake line off here. It's down here. So we're going to try and disconnect that underneath the truck and try to get it out of there so we can reuse it. That's the goal, at least. If we have to destroy it to get it out, that's an easy enough part to buy and replace. It's not a very expensive part. However, this is where we are with Gary's truck here today. Hopefully we're going to have some more tomorrow, and we'll try to get this cab off of here. So hopefully that'll go smoothly. Hopefully the bolts will come out. I'm not foreseeing that happening. We'll see what happens. Well, I'd say that escalated pretty quick. Gary told me he only brought it down here for an oil change. Weird. Anyway, as you can see, the cab is, well, missing. We got it off of here the other day. Wanted to go ahead and show you what we have underneath this cab. Look at the frame and everything like that. Show you some stuff we found and some things that we're going to do here. We'll start with this here. You can see that the cab mount is no longer here. That's what would be in these 4 holes here. We ended up taking it off because it looked a little crusty, and we wanted to go ahead and get it sandblasted, and he's going to either paint it or powder coat it. I haven't figured out what we're going to coat this frame with here yet, but we went ahead and wire wheeled it and pressure washed it off to get all the gunk and grime and everything off of it. This side's probably the worst out of either side. What was really nice to find, though, was that we didn't have rotted out cross member on either side. That was such a beautiful thing. We pulled the cab off, and we were hoping that these were going to be good, and they were good. And same with the cab mounts here. The one that's not here, I'll show it to you on the other side, but this one's good. It just needed to be cleaned up. So we'll go ahead and show you the other side here. This side looks really, really nice. It's still got the powder coat on it from the factory. No scale over here on this side of the frame at all. And, this side's pretty clean as well. We're going to go ahead and put something on this frame, though, to protect it. The inside of the frame still looks pretty good, which is great. And we found a couple little odds and end things here that need to be repaired. One thing I do want to point out here is right here is the VIN number. So the VIN number is tagged to the frame on these trucks, and it'll be right in this general area if you are looking for a VIN on your frame. What's amazing is this truck has 250 plus thousand miles on it, and that VIN is still there, which is great. Usually they're gone. We'll give you another shot of this cross member here. Now, if you do end up having to replace these, they do make spacers you can weld into these, but it really kind of sucks to get this cross member changed out because it is, riveted everywhere. You got 4 on this side, you got 4 on that side, not to mention 2 on top here, 2 on bottom here, 2 on top over there, 2 on the bottom over there. However, that's something that you have to do sometimes. Now, what we did find over here was this little guy right here. See this bolt? All right. It's not in all the way. It was actually laying right here. So that was a problem. So we're going to have to get a new gasket for this. Maybe a new bolt. We'll see how that goes. It's going to be kind of fun. We're going to end up taking this downpipe off so we have some room to work. So we found that loose bolt. Actually not loose, but missing. Thankfully it was down here. One of the front drive shaft bolts for the CV was also loose. We tightened that up. We found a loose cross member bolt. And I think that was pretty much it for issues that we found wrong. And like I said, he just had this engine put in here not too long ago. The guy that put it in was kind of took his time with it, and then really shouldn't have taken his time with it, because at the end there he had to have it done and rushed to get it done. But it's in here, it runs, and as you can see, we have no cab here. And we're hopefully going to have this thing back together as soon as possible here. That way he can have his truck back. And then, we do need to replace these cab mounts up here. You know, you can see this one's pretty rough looking. But either way, this is the update for Gary's truck here. Hopefully, nice rust-free truck for a while. I know he's not going to be driving it in the winter. I know he hasn't driven it for the past couple winters. I know sometimes he does have to take it out, but you know, we're going to have some more updates on this truck here soon. Hopefully we'll cover doing some stuff to the cab, you know, try to fix up that one cab mount and do some other maintenance items while it's all off. One thing I do want to bring out here, so here's our lower body mounts. As you can see, they're a little oozy. Now all these came out, which is pretty amazing to me. And the reason they came out is because I ended up buying an induction tool. Now, in the previous videos, you have seen where I have said you need to take out the front tank to get the bottom or the rear cab mount bolt out. Well, with one of these guys, you can take your element and fish it down through here, down through that hole. Now you're doing this from the bottom, so you would stick the tail in first, and then you can put your inductor tool on your wire, and you can actually heat this bolt, the bottom of the bushing up. Now when you heat the bottom of that bushing up, obviously that's going to loosen up the threads a little bit and try to get that to come out a little bit easier. Now like I said, we did get all these bolts out, and we did use the inductor tool in all of them, except for this front one because it was pretty rough. We just cut it off. However, the inductor tool does get warm enough to turn the rubber bushings into goo, and they are sticky, which is really interesting to me. I figured they would harden up after they dry or after they got cooled off, but they didn't. So if you're in the process of trying to remove your cab and you don't want to be dealing with torches or dropping the front tank, you can get yourself an induction tool, and seems to work pretty good for taking out the body mounts. It gets them just warm enough and you can take the bolts right out and don't have to fight with them. You know, fight with dropping the tank or fight with trying to get torches up around the tanks and fuel lines and brake lines and stuff like that. You know, that was a good, safe way to do that. But that is the update for Gary's truck here, and hopefully we can keep you guys updated on this project. So please subscribe to the channel for more videos on Gary's truck. Hopefully we'll have the cab all repaired here and put back together. Try to do some videos on it, on repairing the cab mount and sealing up the cowl and doing some maintenance items on that cab before it goes back on. So keep tuned for those, and you'll get notifications if you do subscribe to the channel on those video uploads. So please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these videos. We're going to try and keep videos like this going. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.